We appear to be back after some interesting things. People are talking about Dragon Ball in the chat. Also, apparently Darth Vader is involved in something. Move this over here. Alright, so, time to play FF6. Now, this is my personal favorite section of the game because the Veld, as you can see, is a nightmare as hell. Yeah, it does that on the overworld. I don't actually know why. Really, I don't. That's actually never happened to me before until I started doing this run yesterday. So, right, I'm not actually buying anything here. So this is Mobliz, or Mobliz if you prefer. I like Mobliz. You know why I like Mobliz? Well, this place is frickin' completely optional. I mean, seriously, think about this for a moment. What do you have to do here? Well, you have to go into this building right here. You have to buy a dried meat. Right there, bam. That's it. That's the requirement of this town. Then you can leave and go out. That's exactly what I do in a speedrun, of course, obviously. By the way, there's a tip guy literally right next to the item thing saying, this is what you do to get the kid. Because it's likely, especially if you're playing this normally, hey Lulu, that you have encountered Gao until you reach this place, especially since you don't know where Mobliz is. And there's only 2 locations you can go into on the Veldt, the cave and here. So most likely, if you're playing this for the first time, you're roaming a decent amount of time before you actually find Mobliz, and by this time you are very, very likely to encounter Gao. And as I've said before, each time you don't encounter him, the chance of encountering him actually increases. So it's a nice way to ensure that the player knows what they should do without just kind of being like, hey, you know. And, you know, they talk about Gao a bit here. The thing I really like about Mobliz, though, is the fact that in addition to being... there's actually a decent amount of story here and a surprisingly amount of stuff you can do, basically all having to do with this guy. This is a soldier who was an Imperial soldier. And I'll just go ahead and tell you the whole thing rather than walk you through it, because, you know, it takes forever. Basically, you talk to him, and he was a conscript. He was a conscript for Miranda, who was a part of the Doma invasion force, tried to go AWOL. They beat the living snot out of him, and it's implied, but never actually stated, that they kind of just tossed him over the waterfall, you know, to kill him. He somehow survived and either was found or made it here. I personally like to think of it as the fact that he was found. In fact, I like the idea that he was found by Gao, who had no idea how to heal him, but cared enough to drag him here, because Gao's not a bad person, he's just a kid. Regardless, however it happened, this guy actually managed to get all the way over here to Mobliz, is basically paralyzed and incredibly bad health. And yeah, that actually kind of bugged me, Kay. For those of you not aware, he is still alive and and depending on how you do this, could still be communicating with Lola back in Miranda via carrier pigeon by the time we get the airship. Wouldn't it be nice? I mean, it's very likely this guy's going to die no matter what. It would be very hard, given the, shall we say, lack of medical technology at the time, to get him back into functionality, unless we assume that magic can heal him. But so that brings another question. So why don't we use magic to heal him, and why don't we just take him home so he can enjoy his last few days in peace with his lover, respectively? No, we're just going to let him die. Now, granted, this is funny because this guy's actually a strong part of Cyan's character arc in the world of Ruin, or rather the absence of this guy, depending on how you think of that. So yeah, what we can do, and we can go back and forth, spend a decent amount of gold here. This is a, yes I have, chatter, this is a surprisingly subtle thing, if you think about it. What we're doing here is we're pretending we're Cyan later on in the game. I know you're like, huh? What does Cyan do later on in the game? He pretends he's him and writes letters for him back. Now you're like, well, that's not what we're doing. We're sending letters for him. No, we're not. Look at what he says there. I'd like to write her back, but I can't pick up a pen. So we write a letter, and we go over to the carrier pigeon guy and send it for him in his stead, which is exactly what Cyan does later on. Now the funny thing is, I think this scene makes a lot more sense if we do it like this. We actually have to spend gold to do this too. I do, Lex. I actually like the suffixes. I admit when 8, I guess it was, which did the first one. I think it was 8. I think it was 8. Yeah, I'm sorry, you just said this. The 8, the Agas and whatnot, I've grown to like those, and I admit it was a thing that had to grow on me. It took a while because I was so accustomed to, Fire 1, Fire 2, Fire 3, from all the way back to the original FF, the old ones in the NES, that at first I was like, what the hell is all this crap? But nowadays I prefer the Agas and the Ajas and the fun stuff like that. And yeah, Kay is correct. It is entirely possible that he recites a letter to us. We don't know. So there's this thing. Now, the way it works is if you leave and then you come back, he'll have gotten a letter back. Wait, really? I thought we had to actually leave and come back to do that. We'll go ahead and talk to this guy about the Serpent Trench really quick. Hey, what did... Oh, let me guess. This, yeah, this counts as leaving and coming back. That's why it does it. Well, I can't say anything, Kay, because my system has Fire 1 and Fire 8 and Fire 20. But no, it makes sense that this would work, because we are, in code terms, on the overworld, which is what is resetting the timer on the thing. We'll find out in a second, though. So there's a lot of hints and things in here that are specifically, hey, this is what you're supposed to do next. It talks about the Serpent's Trench. It talks, this guy, which is going to obviously come up back when we come to Mobliz later, and with Cyan's story. And there's the 2 kids and their teenage pregnancy, which we've already talked about. Oh, hang on, let's talk to him first. And you could just keep doing this. We're actually not going to do the whole thing. Is there even a benefit for doing the whole thing? I actually don't remember. And here's Dwayne and Katrin, which is, I believe, supposed to be Katrina or Katarina, depending. They're, well, they're 16. They will be 17 in the world of Ruin, and she will be very pregnant in the world of Ruin, because they're some of the only people who survived. Some of the oldest people who survived, which is kind of funny, actually. I got enough money to do that. Sprint shoes. Okay, so, yeah, we've got the Dwayne and Katrin thing. We've got the Mobliz and Miranda Lola thing. We've got several people talking about Gao. I think this deserves a story plus because this whole area is, like I said, completely freaking optional. Oh god, we lost the music and graphics thing because of the crash. Oh no. Could someone do me a favor and go pull up the VOD that's on Twitch right now for the one that just before we crashed and tell me what we were at for the music and the sound counters. God. While I rebuild this here. I know there were several. I just don't remember what we were up to. I'll put that down there. Excuse me. Okay, thank you, Deutsch. Graphics is at 6. patiently. Very patiently. I wonder what the gameplay and story we're at. I don't know if we've changed those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 since then. Whatever, we'll just kind of run with it. I have a feeling those pluses are going to be off the screen by the time we get further in this. I mean, we're nowhere in this game. We're like an hour into this game if I was speedrunning it. That there. Okay. Oh, right. No, I was about to add another plus to the story. Did I already have that? I think I did. I already added a plus. Okay, so Mobliz is a plus. It's optional. Lots of little lore tidbits, lots of world building, lots of set building. You know, cool stuff. Definitely a plus. The Velt. Absolutely, Lex. You kidding me? No, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill the bastard. Celis's character development is more important than his life. I'm pretty low level. It just occurred to me. I have not been leveling at all. You might be like, well, how do I know that? Well, I don't have the 4th sword tech, and I don't have fire dance, both of which you get around level 15. I forget the exact level. Stretch. And, yep, I was going to say, we have like a near 100% chance to get Gao there, which we did. So this cutscene. No, it's okay, Samurai. Life is meaningless. So this scene, believe it or not, this is the most this is the most on-screen anything that Gao gets in the entire game. I'm not kidding. I mean, Gao is present in the game for several sections after this, and has dialogue for several sections of the game after this, but I suppose that's a lie. The scene where he's talking to his father, I guess, involved with his father, might challenge this for duration, but this is like a 3-minute scene, even if you're holding down A. And if you're not, it's obviously taking longer. Now, I like this idea. Let's go ahead and branch off for a second. This demonstrates the perspective of Gao, the idea that while he's probably nowhere near a match for Sabin in a one-on-one fight, Sabin isn't actually trying to hurt him, because it's Sabin. And Gao is sufficiently skilled and observant to be able to basically keep Sabin at bay, right? Damn it, Daniel. So the idea here being that they're not actually fighting in any real sense of the word, and Gao is more or less literally playing with Sabin. Now this